Good day and welcome back to another DB Legends video. In this video we're going to be taking a look at my build for the Zamasu Blue. So basically we're going to be taking a look at Zamasu Blue, his abilities, what equipment I run on him. So to cut a long story short, this guy's a defensive option. He's got some very interesting abilities that actually make him have a ton of utility for the team. And I think that's great. So in terms of his abilities, if we're looking at his moves, nothing too crazy, plus 30% to chance to inflict heavy bleed on hit of his strike attacks. And then he's got a special move that deals massive slice damage and applies the following effects to the enemy upon activation. Minus 50% to health restoration for 15 timers, plus 20% to slice damage received, and 100% chance to inflict extreme bleed on hit, which is obviously really solid. He has a special skill which is Sundering Hand of God, which nullifies the enemy's melee tap actions and strike arts upon activation. Applies the following effects to self upon activation: restoration a key by 50, applies the buff effect nullify enemy special actions that activate when changing cover for 5 timer counts, and applies the following effects to self on hit: randomly draws 1 new card and applies the attribute upgrade minus 80% to enemies sustained damage CUT effects for 10 timer accounts. You also need to note that a Dokabi impact will occur if this art collides with an enemy's forward charge, special move, or special arts. So it's pretty interesting. In terms of his abilities, his unique abilities, he's got Undying Flesh, which applies the following effects to self when battle starts, which is plus 90% to damage inflicted, reduction of damage received by 50%, and gradual health restoration. You also have the following effects occur when landing a hit. He gets 10% to own health restoration and 10% to allies health restoration, as well as inflicting an attribute downgrade on all enemies. He'll also apply the following effect every time when hit with an enemy's art attack while he's on the battlefield: reduction of key by 30 and reduction of key by 20. The 30 activates once and the 20 activates twice. The activation count will reset when he is switched out. Additionally, he will get plus 20% to damage inflicted by allies if own remaining health is 50% or below. Now reduction and restores own health by 30% when he reaches 0. He then has Wisdom of Almighty God, which happens when he enters the battlefield. He has reduction of damage received by 20% for an additional 10 timer counts, inflicts all enemies with attribute downgrade to their arts card draw speed, and to the special move power of all of their ultimates and awakened arts powers. He will also apply the following effects to himself when the enemy character switches, which is restore his own health and key and increases arts card draw speed. He also restores his own key by 15 and gets increased damage while he's on the battlefield. He will also have his sub counter lowered every time your units take hits. So yeah, there's a lot going on. Something that's super interesting about him is that his special skill does disable the enemy's strike arts and melee cards, and his main ability actually mutes their blast attacks. It seals their blast attacks. So you have like this ability to stop strike and stop blast at the same time, which is very oppressive. And yeah, basically, yeah, for the most part, it's pretty straightforward. Yeah. When I say straightforward, I think he's a very simple unit to actually implement into the team. Now, in this first fight, I'm actually going to be taking a lot of hits just to see how he does defensively and to see how a lot of his stuff kicks in. And in the second fight, we'll just try to play a bit more normally. So we're going to switch him in here while they've got Vegeta out. You can see immediately inflicts them with a debuff. And immediately starts to kind of remove the key from Vegeta, which is why he had to switch out. He had to get key restoration. You can see we're recovering health, which is good. So straight away, pretty good stuff from Zamasu. That ability to just switch in, completely remove the key of the opposition is something that's very powerful. It's something that's going to help us out a lot. And yeah, overall, it's very good stuff. So for me, I think he looks pretty good, at least on the surface. I would say I think his utility he brings is very solid, and his defensive capabilities are actually really good. yeah, we're gonna switch him back in here. You can see we switched him back in. By switching him back in, he's gonna regain some health. He's gonna restore his own ki. Very, very good stuff. And we're gonna take some damage here, which is fine. We're then gonna dodge. Got our move cancel, which is fine. You do a God Slash, which does good damage, by the way. Always seems to do some really good damage. But you can see again just how the combos are being broken up. Like Vegeta can't really go full Vegeta mode because of all the ki that's kind of being sucked out of him. I think it's just really impressive how much he disrupts the opposition. And he really helps out this Goku Black God Ki team because they needed a unit that brings a lot of this utility and brings a lot to the table. Now, in terms of equipment, there's nothing too unusual that you want to run here. Some strike and defensive equipment will definitely help out. I think, for me at least, when I look at his gear, the Awakened You're Still Not a God equip is pretty good. Not only does it give you base crit and base strike and special move damage, all of these things help because this special move does quite a surprising amount of damage. It can definitely cause some notable damage, I want to say. You'll see it very frequently hit players for a lot of damage, and yeah, for me, I just think it does look relatively quite good. In terms of other major equipment, I wouldn't say anything specifically. I like to run kind of my stock standard Goku Zamasu gear. The plat is always something that's super duper helpful. Me, the Invincible, the Almighty, it's blast defense, it's strike defense, health restoration, health. And then the Foolish Mortals card I also just like for defense as well. So overall, I think he just has a very solid kind of kit going on. I think he looks pretty decent. But I do think, at the end of the day, he doesn't solve everything on the team's problems, but he's a hell of a good unit to use, actually. I think he brings so much needed utility to this Goku Black base team, and he can have decent synergy on other teams. I mean, God Ki is definitely a team that he obviously runs on. God Ki is a pretty strong contributor for him, but obviously it's that powerful opponent factor that you also want to keep in. Regen's a team that definitely needed him, so he helps out a lot of teams, stat wise. He looks pretty decent as well, I want to say. Stat wise he looks quite solid. Overall 2.13 million health at max star, which is pretty good. He definitely does gain some decent stats, but his damage and his tanking abilities are just really good for me overall. So I was very happy with his performance as a unit. I think the amount of ki that he removes from units, the amount of damage that he does is just super impressive. And I think, overall he does great. You can see their health restoration up, so he's just going to keep building up health. I should have gone with the Rising Rush there, but like I said, it's okay. Not really a huge issue with this first. I just wanted to kind of show his sub counter. I wanted to show all the ability of him to really break up the combos. So I'm not the best player, but I do like to try and showcase at least the mechanics to a certain point. But yeah, so I think he looks pretty good. Then we're going to this next fight. We'll be a bit more on the offensive. We'll be a bit more less lax with our switching. We'll prioritize switching him in, and you'll be able to see him on a bit more of an offensive level. He can actually do some pretty decent damage, as I mentioned. His how can I say, his damage is not terrible. Obviously he provides utility, but that bleed damage, the slice damage, it can all add up. it can all really add up and become like really solid. So I think like it's not too bad. Like I think his damage could be obviously more, but I think it's really not too bad for me at least. I think like he definitely can do damage. You could prioritize him a bit more into damage, obviously, which is something I think you can do with anything. There are a couple like pieces of gear, etc., that I think could make him a bit more damage orientated, but his utility is so good that it really doesn't matter. His healing, how he buffs the team, how he really helps out with health restoration, which is big. Like when you have units that regen and they're getting 10% health restoration buffs consistently from every time this guy hits a strike card, you can't really, well, you can measure the effect obviously, but I mean you can't really evaluate based solely on the amount of damage that he does when you look at how much sustain he's giving your team overall. But yeah, I think he looks pretty good, personally speaking. Really great unit. I enjoy using him a lot, and he's made my Goku Black team a lot easier to run against some of these higher lineups. Look there, good damage against a green unit. Obviously this guy's not got the highest team boost, etc., but it's not bad damage. He's only 3 stars. His gear's not Z plus yet or anything, so yeah, pretty good damage, I would say. At least for me, I think it's really solid, and he pairs up nicely. Like he gives this Legends Limited Goku Black a really good kind of basis upon which to work, which I think he needs. Gives a little bit of a good, like, strong situation to the Zamasu, half corrupted merge Zamasu. It gives us a good unit to switch in. You can see there we're getting the attacks and really managing to soak in the damage, restore our health, debuff the enemy. There's a lot going on, which I think is really solid. Restore our key, we nullify special action cover changes, and yeah, there's a little bit of lag here, so I do apologize. But yeah, overall he just does a very impressive job for me, at least. I personally think he's great. I love what he brings, and if you have him and you haven't considered using him, you definitely should, especially if you're someone who's running the Goku Black Zamasu kind of team. It's a team that 100% needs a unit like Zamasu, a unit that can just do so much, soak so much, and just really provide utility, which is great. Get good success on our Rising Rush. Nice thing is he would have survived anyway because of his health restoration effect. And yeah, you can see we're tanking pretty nicely, keeping up the debuffs. Trunks is going to hit us with his ultimate move. We're not going to die from this either. So yeah, overall just pretty good stuff. The bleed damage causes us some problems, and boom, big damage off of the slice, and all of a sudden we're looking pretty good, and we can switch it up and bring it back. Just really good utility. So I like him. I definitely incorporate him into my Goku Black kind of team. I think that's where I want him to be, personally speaking. I am running the Vegito for a bit of a Zenkai boost. Maybe one day they'll bring out another blue unit or something. You don't need the Vegito to make this guy runnable, but it does help out with the base stats. Obviously always having Zenkai boost helps out with the base stats. I don't think that's most people are running Zenkai boost teams, most people are running 3 bench options to really boost the team, and I think he's no exception. Zamasu really benefits from that. I don't think there's a problem with him benefiting from that, so yeah. But we do more than fine. We honestly have a great time with Zamasu, and for the most part he really seems to bring fill in that much needed hole on this team. Will I swap him out? Probably not. You can see just how much he debuffs the opposition. You can just see how much is obviously really kicking off, and with so many debuffs and the synergy he has with everyone else, it's really good kind of cross synergy that I think is really necessary when you run this team. So yeah, again, just regenerating up. I mean, mere moments ago, you were seeing this guy with literally no health, and surprise, he's got health again, more than fine. Very quick to get his health back. God Slicer, finish it up, and yeah, Zamasu. Do I say he's like a super duper solid unit? Remains to be seen, but I think he's definitely very good. And yeah, I enjoy running him. I think you should try him out. He definitely can bring a lot of utility if you're missing that kind of hole on your team, and he brings it with not terrible damage and some good tanking. So yeah, overall I would say he's pretty good. Again, let me know your thoughts. Would love to hear it, and of course I will see you guys in the next one. Until then, take care and bye.